Be leftists, always looking to fight for the downtrodden, the marginalised, and the oppressed. Well, at least what they would like to tell us are the downtrodden, the marginalised, and the oppressed. But let's bear with it. In your attempts to attain the social justice utopia, it is thwarted by the dastardly pandemic that has just swept the whole world. What do you try to do? Well, rather than hunker down with the rest of us plebs and try to do our best to fight the disease in the little ways that we can, no, you decide to continue with propaganda videos like this. You clap for me now. This is in reference to the rather Orwellian displays of public love towards the state. I mean, our NHS, which is somehow meant to do what exactly? I don't know. But rather than trying to treat this as a thank you for clapping for the millions of NHS workers, yes, medical professionals are now workers, like miners, no, instead it has to be racialised. You thank us minorities now, us immigrants, despite, being a minority, roughly 15 to 20% of the NHS's staff. And even then, it's only further down the chain you go where they become more significant in numbers. Some of these people in this video are actually British, but obviously are second, third, fourth generation, but obviously don't like it here. Some of them are immigrants who you must wonder, judging by the tone of their voice and being involved in such a video, why they came here in the first place, but hey, I don't know. But apparently we should be clapping not just for the state apparatus that is the NHS, but also these people in particular, because we should clap for the institution that recently decided to drop the Hippocratic Oath and announce racists will not be treated.
So, it's finally happened.
That thing you were afraid of.
Something's come from overseas.
And taken your job.
Oh, that is so cringe. So not only are they referencing the meme of they took our jobs, they are making out as if it has only just happened. Never mind the fact that just recently tens of thousands of British people, this is not just white British people, I assume, which, by the way, if you're white, you are the target of this video, but also other races, were denied agricultural jobs, picking produce in favour of cheaper Romanian labour. Literally, over 100 Brits were offered jobs, and the rest went to temporary Romanian workers who are most likely going to be working for less pay and working in worse conditions than any British worker would agree to, and most likely will suffer from outbreaks of the virus, which in Germany some have already succumbed to. Speaking of which, it's nice to see the leftists admit that the virus was indeed from overseas, China to be precise. Continue to defeat your own arguments.
Made it unsafe to walk the streets.
Kept you trapped in your home.
A dirty disease.
Your proud nation gone.
Do any of these brain-dead morons realise how bad this sounds? Why do they sound so hostile and arrogant towards their fellow citizens? Citizens, I add, that for the overwhelming majority have accepted you lot here. Also, as I almost forgot to mention, a lot of white Brits still have their jobs. Depending on how essential their work is to the government, they may either be continuing their usual schedules or working from home. I, on the other hand, cannot go to work, despite not being laid off like some people have, because I am not an essential worker. I have not lost my job to a foreign influence. I mean, again, they are referencing memes and arguments that anti-immigration people have said. I assume not being able to walk the streets is a reference to crime. Well, have you seen how bad London is right now? Again, it's just stupid. Mindless race hustling at the worst possible time. Also, currently the only people making the streets unsafe are either idiots or the police.
But not me.
Or me.
Or me.
Or me.
No, you clap for me now.
She was English just then, surely. Again, why am I supposed to clap for these people in particular? What makes you all so special? Sure, some of you are doctors and surgeons, that's a special skill, but special people? No, there's millions of doctors and surgeons all over the world. But because you are minorities and immigrants, I'm supposed to revere you? I wouldn't even ask for that for myself.
You cheer as I toil.
Bringing food to your family.
Bringing food from your soil.
Propping up your hospitals.
You're this, you're that, this is your home too. You do understand that, right? A lot of the people here, judging by their accents, were born in this country, yet they are treating themselves as if they are aliens that have landed on the planet and now become beasts of burden for white British people. Why? Because reasons, I guess. Not only do they care for whites when they are sick, but even give them food, despite the fact that most people in rural Britain are well over 90% white. In fact, I will say most likely 99% for sure. So Actually, in agriculture, it's whites that are serving you your food. Also, considering most of our food is imported from other places, free trade, you know what that is, right? I guess it's the whole world feeding us. Where's your gratitude towards the world? Also, I would like to reiterate that you do not prop up our hospitals. The NHS runs on a terrible business model where it incentivises itself to look for cheaper foreign labour because it refuses to pay wages at the market rate. If it did, you would not be as important as you think you are already.
Not some foreign invader.
Teacher. Lifesaver.
Don't say go home.
Most British people do not consider you invaders. Only the farmer right types of the world would consider someone born and raised here as invaders. I myself have been accused of stealing the culture I was born and raised in because I just so happen to be a quarter black. But the thing is, it's not the whites and minorities like myself who are proud to be British that consider you to be invaders. It's you yourselves, and also the farmer right. The only persons in this video that are using that language is you. Your use of language is directly implying you are the outsiders, the alien, and the whites are the host. You don't like being here, you don't like the whites, but you have a minority's burden for some reason. The only racists are you in this video.
Don't say, not here.
You know how it feels for home to be a prison.
You know how it feels to live in fear.
So you clap for me now.
Sorry, but I don't clap for entitled racists who would rather live somewhere else. Also, if you want to know true fear, try living in Syria.
All this love you are bringing.
But don't forget when it's no longer quiet.
Don't forget when you can no longer hear the birds singing.
Or see clearer waters.
That I cross for you.
To make lives filled with peace.
And bring peace to your life too.
Come.
How is it that you are doing the majority of the work and whites are just doing what exactly? Nothing? I don't even know why I am saying whites. I should say white British, but it's too convenient to just say whites. A lot of the people in this video are white, just some are not British. No, we're supposed to be working together. This is a pandemic. We do not get through it by race hustling and creating division. Leftism, not even once.
All you Gretas. You Malalas.
Oh my God, that is more cringe. Greta Thunberg compared to Malala, whatever her name was. Firstly, Greta Thunberg is too privileged and rich to be an immigrant, and our current crop of immigrants from Malala's area of the world are, well, you know...
immigrants.
See what we have learned.
This is supposed to be anti-racist, by the way.
It only takes the smallest thing
to change the world.
What does this even mean? That made no sense in the context of this video. I'm sorry, but who is we? The white upper and middle classes? Most of us normal folk, white or otherwise, will never forget the service that all essential workers have done. That doesn't mean the good service, but also the bad. See the British police's conduct in all of this. The idea is that after all this clapping and appreciation, white British people will, like a light switch, return to being racist and oppressive, despite the fact that this is a fantasy. 99% of those people are not racist. They do not clap out of this two-faced attitude you imply they have. They clap because they think they're going to do a good thing for you and the majority white British NHS workers also. Honestly, it's a disgrace that the man who wrote this poem was able to get this released. The Guardian should have took one look at this and said, "Mate, are you serious at this time? I know we're rabid socialists and racists, but there is a time and a place to shame white people." But it's the Guardian, so what do we even expect? The thing is, I can't quite tell if this is leftist propaganda designed to create division, like Voltaire's Ghost said, or if it's genuinely a case of their Dunning-Kruger propaganda where it's actually meant to unify people, but actually causes division. It might as well be both. So I'll leave it here. See you later, guys.